For our Kickstarter update this week, I thought we would just do more of the 7 questions. We did it with Connor Brady last week, but this week I thought we could do it with a few. Well, we got some questions back from Dennis, but it seems weird to ask all these people questions that we're not willing to answer ourselves.
Hey, it's Mark Robertson, quarantined. Going on week 4 here in Nashville, Tennessee.
Hello, my name is Dennis Holt, and I happen to be a drummer.
Okay. How did we meet?
I first met Beki, I guess it would have been 92.
I met Randy and Beki in Ireland over a pint 3 years ago.
We met through a mutual friend, John Thompson.
We were introduced through a fellow named John Thompson, and I want to say we were at his shop at the time, True Tunes, in Wheaton, Illinois. That would be my best guess. I'm pretty sure that's right.
At church.
Right. I had been a backup singer for Larry Norman, and we had a show in Michigan, but we did rehearsals in Chicago before driving up to Michigan. So John and I had become friends, and he introduced me to you there.
Yep. I was over working with Phil Madeira and the Sweet Sorrows, and just fell in love with them immediately, and we have done a few things here and there ever since.
We met again at Cornerstone Festival about 6 weeks later, and that's where I really remember kind of getting to know you.
Yep, pretty much.
And after that, you wouldn't stop calling me.
Well, she fell for me like a bag of rocks.
Well, I saw Randy's band, Mission of Mercy, before I met you, Beki, but that's another story. And awesome band.
I first started drumming when I was 9. My mother was a pianist and way into West Coast jazz.
I started on classical guitar, but the first band I joined, we had 3 guitar players and nobody played bass. So I bought a bass and really, I don't know, I felt like it was more to my liking, more to my skill set. One note at a time, a lot easier, a lot. And I still play a fair amount of guitar, but bass is the main thing.
The record that I attribute me seeking a career as a drummer, musician, was a Dave Brubeck Quartet album called Take 5. I still have my mother's original copy.
I played football all through school and pretty much wanted to play guitar, but never had time or money. And it wasn't until football was over my senior year that I bought a Ibanez Les Paul off a friend of a friend, and like 20 years later, I think, probably more than that, but I found out that it didn't belong to him. And I bought that and just listened to a lot of records, learning how to play stuff, listened to a lot of early Sneak Preview, who is what King's X used to call themselves, to learn a lot of guitar riffs and stuff.
Like, we moved around a lot of military bases, and not every house had a dishwasher. So if we didn't have a dishwasher, one would wash, one would dry, and one would put away. And we were always singing in 3-part harmony while we did the dishes. And because I had trouble finding the harmonies, my mom and sister are really good at that, I always took the melody. And I think that's how I became inclined to be a lead singer.
Probably.
Well, I kind of like hanging out everywhere, especially outdoors. Spend a lot of time biking and hiking. Last time Beki and Randy were in town, we met at a place called Bonga Java. And I love hanging out there, but it's...
In the current town, I would have to say it's a spirit store.
So I have a couple of favorite hangs from a couple different towns. I'd say when we were in Denver, one of our favorite hangouts was Sobo 151, which is a Czech bar. And then my hometown of Buena Vista, Colorado, I think just the place I grew up, the Spring Canyon, which is a camp that my dad was the manager of, is just so beautiful. And the grounds there are gorgeous. And you can take a little kayak out on the ponds and just look up at the mountains. And I've really grown to appreciate that more as I've grown up and been away from it. So that's... I'm a big fan of good opening spot. And we've opened for people that we're huge fans of, like Sean Colvin and Amy Mann and The Call.
I've played for over 500,000 people at a time and for 3. People tend to ask me who I've played with, and not in a braggadocious way. It's just easier for me to just sort of say I've worked with a lot of people, from Loretta Lynn to the band Kansas, with Taylor Swift and and Emmylou Harris in the middle.
You know what was really fun for me is, like, over the years I've gotten to sing with Echelon. They hire me as a backup singer, but then I get to sing lead on a couple songs, and they were hired to be the worship band for the National Youth Gathering one year, and it was at the Superdome in New Orleans. And that was such a unique experience to be on a stage that big and to sing in front of 30,000 people. And not just to sing, but you're actually leading everybody in song, so they're singing along with you.
I'm pretty fortunate. I've had a really long career, and it's been all over the map in a good way. First, probably this train, which Beki was also a member of. And I think it's because I'd been a sideman my whole life, just playing for other folks. It was my first time where I got to be involved in the writing and the production and singing. After that, well, gosh, Altar Boys, that was a highlight. Rich Mullins was a huge highlight, also playing for Rick Elias. Aside from being amazing people, I was finally able to support myself with music because of those guys. And I miss them both, but I'm so grateful to them both. Legendary Shack Shakers, which I did for 14 or 15 years. We toured the whole world many times.
So it's just been great. And these days, I'm thankful that I get to record at home.
Still great. I play in a terrific band called Eskimo Brothers, and I play for an amazing guy named Derek Hoke. I play for a guy named Mark Colley. I have my own kind of post-punk band called Prayer Flags that I'm really happy with. And I'm doing, right now, I'm doing kind of a somewhat industrial-ish electronic record under the name The Snipe Catcher, and that's just me, no one else.
I think pretty much the same things. I was doing schoolwork, and we had just kind of just dipped our toes in the water of the new CD.
Like, I was working on, well...
School?
No, I mean, honestly, I was working on, every day is different.
Well, before everything closed up, I had been down in Florida doing a concert at Jacksonville Beach Pavilion, drove home, was getting ready to start on a project with Phil Madeira. It's covers from things that really influenced him as a child, and actually the song that's up right now is it's a tribute to John Prine. Sad, terrible loss.
Well, I was touring a lot, and we were gearing up with Eskimo Brothers to tour quite a bit more. So that was kind of going to be my main work. But I have been able to get a few sessions, and I can work on my electronic record, among other things. I mixed a single for Eskimo Brothers that's coming out soon. I'm working on a great record with a guy named Mike Lynch, and I'm engineering and recording that.
To keep up with the housework and working on finishing these songs for the album. You know, waiting to sing my vocals and just try to be a good support to you while you're finishing school. I don't know how to answer that question.
You say that every day is a winding road.
Every day is a winding road. There's
life
things,
is pretty full.
But it's really full. I'm so busy.
I like touring more than I like overall traveling. Most of our travel hasn't encompassed like service or doing something meaningful or challenging. So it's not that, you know, it's been enjoyable in that sense.
I don't know. I think I'm somewhere in the middle. I go a little bit nutty if I get too much of any one thing at the expense of another. I love traveling. I always have, and I still do. But I like my home life a whole lot too. Good thing right now. But so there's a balance in there, I guess.
Trending. I'm strong asphalt trending toward earth. Like, I have always had the wanderlust, and I have always been restless and wanted change every so often. I really do love going on the road with you and touring, but the older I get, the more drawn I am to putting down roots and having a routine.
I'm very much an outdoor person, but I like the adventures of travel. So I'm kind of asphalt and earth. You know what I am? I'm earth with a dirt and gravel road. Asphalt for cycling, dirt for hiking, and I need water. I've got to have water. I grew up.
My laptop, and out the window a little bit, there's back of the house. There's pretty much this coffee here, so that's never too far away.
This is, what am I looking at right now? Well, besides my iPad, there's my cat Hank somewhere over there. He's not very sociable though. He's kind of a jerk.
What are you looking at right now? I'm feeling awkward staring at my iPhone. I'm going to work on a track today for an artist from California, and then I'm going to go out for a bike ride.
I'm looking at the salt shaker.
Oh, physically, okay.
And my coffee cup.
I thought you meant like...
And my husband.
Mentally. I'm looking at...
So please support Beki in this endeavor with your finances, and let's finish this record together.
And that's it.